Hi Ronald, what's the team use for Newcastle? Is Long going to be fit for this one?
Stephen Davis first is not fit. We got an injury, took an injury out of the Leicester game. He's not fit for the weekend. And Shane Long is back in the team for the weekend. And no any other news about players.
How serious is the Davis injury?
I don't know. What I heard, normally he will be out for 2-3 weeks. And I don't know if he is available for next weekend. But I hope that he will be fit next weekend. But we have to wait.
He's just racked up 150 games and is going to the Euros. He's a key player for you, isn't he now?
Yeah, he is. Because he's always normally he starts always. And that means that he's one of the key players in the team. But we have very good replacements for his position.
And Charlie Austin and Jay again in the frame to play this weekend.
Yeah, they are fit and waiting for the opportunity.
Ronald, 6 games left. Can you make Europe?
Of course we can make, but it starts by win the game, and even more close to the final part of the league, you need points, you need wins, but. We had not a good result last week, but the teams around us also not, and that means that we can make a big step to win the game this Saturday.
Last season you finished with 60 points and you were 7th. 6 games left, you got 47. Do you think you can still realistically go above that 60 from last season?
That will be difficult, but that's part of the Premier League of this season. Because I think all the teams don't have finally the same points as last season. There's more games on predictable results in the whole season, and I think less points than 60 is enough for European football.
Last game at Leicester, the handballs were a big talking point. Some are still confused by what's handball, what's not. Would you like to see some clarification on this?
Yes, because I don't know anymore what is handball. Maybe I have to wait till next season by the managers meeting, then we get again all the rules. But what I see is no consistency in handballs. 3 days before the England-Holland game, the penalty against England is the same situation as the second penalty situation in the Leicester-Southampton game. And still, I'm 100% that the first is handball, because it's not body, it's not protecting his body, it's really turning with his elbow, stopping the ball. But okay, I'm not a referee, but we got always the same answer of the referees. I wasn't sure about it. It's an easy one, but okay, we accept it.
Having a video ref and being able to challenge calls would help though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but also linesmen's. The second situation of the penalty against Leicester, it's a difficult situation in his position for the referee, but it's a perfect position from the linesman to that handball, and you need to help the referee.
Ronald, Fraser Foster, best goalkeeper in the Premier League at the moment?
One of the best.
Some big clubs we read in the newspapers are interested in him. You confident he's a Southampton player next season?
For sure, there are more interest in other players as well. For Southampton players, we know the players are doing well. The players are improving, and of course, big teams looking to other teams to an interest what they will have for players.
And how's Tadic feeling about life on the bench and life generally down here at the moment, do you think?
No, it's for every player. If he don't start regular, it's difficult. For sure, you talk about what came out in the press. I spoke to Dusan. He was totally surprised, because he's one of the players. If he has a problem, he will speak to the manager, and we have good contact. And even in the winter break, in the winter time, he wasn't playing every weekend, and we spoke about his situation. It's no problem at the moment, and for next season we will see what happened.
Ronald, it's Newcastle next, and it's funny how some teams have a really good record over certain other teams. You've thrashed them here the last couple of years. In fact, Southampton have won more Premier League games against Newcastle, scored more goals against Newcastle than any other team. How do you account for this amazing record?
I don't know. It's a little bit strange sometimes, but okay, that it's possible to stop, because it will be not continue always like that, and they are in a very difficult situation at the moment, and a really relegation battle, and they need points. If not, they will relegate it, and we have to prepare our game against a team who needs points, and that makes every team dangerous.
I know you've met Rafa a few times in the Champions League before. I bet you don't envy being in his position though, with a few games left to try and sort things out.
Yeah, but it's always difficult if he came in already in that difficult situation, and it's always difficult for a manager to change it in 1 or 2 weeks. You need time, but in football you don't get time. You need wins, you need points, and that's the situation of Newcastle.
I mean, they really can't lose this one. I mean, what kind of game are you expecting?
Normally, if we play home, we like to dominate the game. We like to play offensive football, and normally they like to stop that football and maybe surprise us with counter football and to have good defensive organization, but they have some good individual qualities in the team, and that makes them dangerous.
You think they can stay up still?
I don't know, because every team is fighting for his life, and the difference is 6 points on the table. It's not easy, because everybody will win games, but they need wins. But that's the situation for them. I'm not worried about the situation of Newcastle. I'm worried about our situation. Thank you.
Just with Dusan, is there anything specific that he needs to do to hold down the starting position? Or?
No, we have competition in the team. We have more players on the bench. We have more players who's not always starting, and that's the competition what you like to have. But there's no problem, because if there's any problem, what I said before, what I mentioned before, then Dusan is one of the person who speaks to me, and have a very good communication with Dusan, and the answer is always on the pitch and not outside.
Is it sometimes natural that when a player has a very good start at a club or in a new country or division or something, that there'll be a natural dip at some point after that, and it's, do players just have to accept that might happen and just work their way through it, and effectively just bide their time till they get back to their very best?
Yeah, but normally it's a tough season in the Premier League, and you get ups and you get downs in your football career, and but we have also more competition in front. Jay is back, Charlie is fit, Shane Long is developing on a fantastic way in this season, in the last few months, and that makes it more difficult for everybody. Mane was on the bench, Austin was on the bench, Pelle was on the bench, and it's part of football, and it's part of being a team.
If there wasn't that competition and that strength in the squad, players of that calibre would be potentially more likely to look elsewhere, wouldn't they? Because I suppose
look to every Premier League team. If you look to the bench of the teams, they are really good players on the bench, but because that's all about the competition what everybody has in the squad of the team.
Just on Benitez and his job at Newcastle, was that a risk for his reputation to take that job if Newcastle go down, or was it, like you're saying, obviously you can't sort of...
I don't know. It's difficult to opinion about that, because he had the talks to the club, he had the feeling to the club, and if he think he can keep the team in the Premier League, of course, it's a good opportunity for a manager, because still we talking about a big club in the Premier League. Newcastle, it's not a small one. It's really an important club in the Premier League. Who and why, I don't know, because they have some good players. They spend a lot of money, but they now, I think, maybe the third year in a row struggling in the Premier League. And I don't know, because I'm from outside. You have to be inside to have that conclusions why they are struggling.